Hi, I'm Simon Michael Pryor. I've written 2 books which I've self-published. A memoir of my father's amazing experiences in New York in the 1940s called An Englishman in New York, and a fun travel memoir about some escapades and shenanigans I had in the Pacific Islands of Tonga in the 1990s called The Coconut Wireless. This video is for anyone who writes books using Microsoft Word and wants to print their books with Ingram Spark. And at the end, I'll also give you a little tip on how you could save a small amount on your cost per book. Alright, let's get started. I use Microsoft Word to write my manuscripts, as many authors do. I published my books as paperbacks and ebooks on Amazon, but I wanted to print the paperbacks on Ingram Spark as well. Why? 2 reasons. Firstly, Ingram Spark print in my hometown of Melbourne, Australia. This means I would save on postage costs, I'd receive my print orders more quickly, and I'd keep my business local, which is good for the environment and supports local jobs. Secondly, I want to begin selling my paperbacks into Melbourne's independent bookshops and maybe even get them into libraries. These outlets find it hard to buy from Amazon, so Ingram Spark is a good option where they can obtain supply. I opened an account with Ingram Spark. I asked my cover designer to send me a cover formatted for Ingram Spark, and I began the manuscript upload process, which I figured would be as easy as Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP. Amazon's KDP has 2 little features, which mean that even if you get your Word document size hopelessly wrong, you can fix it with 1 click. For the sake of this video, I need to tell you that my book we're working with today, The Coconut Wireless, has 254 pages and it's published in 6:9 size. The first handy KDP feature is the previewer. After you upload your file to KDP, under the Paperback Content tab, there's a yellow button which says Launch Previewer. Click this and an exact representation of the pages in your book appears. You can click forward and back through the book and make sure the pages, any text, any pictures, any diagrams are all laid out correctly. You can confirm that nothing drifts off the side of the page or overlaps 2 pages or whatever. Ingram Spark doesn't have this feature. You can't see an interactive preview of how your book will turn out. The second handy KDP feature is, once you've opened the previewer, if you've uploaded a file with a different page size to what you want in your book, such as going from A4 to 6:9 inches, KDP will warn you that you've got a scale issue, and you can click one little piece of text which says, "Have us try to scale your file to match your book's trim size." Magic happens in the background, and your manuscript is automatically resized to fit the size of your book. Ingram Spark doesn't have this feature either. Ingram Spark does publish a couple of instruction documents, one called File Creation Guide and one called PDF Checklist. However, neither of these has any instructions regarding formatting a Microsoft Word document so that a paperback can be printed with Ingram Spark from it. In fact, on page 4 of Ingram Spark's File Creation Guide, there's a list of non-supported programs, and the very first one mentioned is, you've guessed it, Microsoft Word. Now what do we do? I have to tell you, at this stage, I almost gave up with Ingram Spark as being too hard for Microsoft Word users, but I'm not that easily beaten. I dug deep into the internet, I pinged people on Facebook self-publishing groups, I asked questions in self-publishing forums, and I wrote my own list of instructions. I followed them, and after 2 failed attempts, I had a file which looked like it should print okay. I ordered a couple of sample books from it, and when they arrived, I was 100% happy with them. So for those of you who write using Microsoft Word and you want to print on Ingram Spark, stay tuned. I'm happy to share my step-by-step instructions with you. First, open the Microsoft Word Manuscript you wish to print in Ingram Spark. Here's mine. It's called the Coconut Wireless version 2 Kindle. Save it as a new file name. That means if you make a mess of it, you can just blow it away and start all over again. So I'm going to call it the Coconut Wireless Ingram Spark and save. Under the Layout tab, under Page Setup, for a 6x9 inch book, we need to change the paper size instead of A4 to 15.2 centimeters by 22.9. That's the metric equivalent of 6x9. We click OK. Now what happens? Well, originally, if you remember earlier, I said this book has 254 pages. It now has 451. Well, that's not going to fit inside the cover, so we need to reduce that to fit 254. And you remember that bit where in KDP we could click that magic button that said, have us try to scale your file to match your book's trim size? Well, we're now going to have to do that manually with Ingram Spark, and I'm going to show you how. There's a number of things we could do to replicate what KDP's magic does, and you'll have to play around with your file until you get the right number of pages. Here's a couple of ideas. You can change the text size. I'm currently in Garamond 14, so let's change it to Garamond 11 by going select all, Garamond, and then 11. How many pages have we got now? 328. Okay, we're getting closer. We can change the paragraph spacing. So under the Design tab in Microsoft Word, there's this thing here that says paragraph spacing. We could change it to custom paragraph spacing. So where it says here before and after, and it's got 0 points and 8 points, we could change that to before 1 point and after 1 point. Let's just see what that does. 269 pages. So we've got another sort of 15 or so to go, 20 or so to go to get this the right size. So if you just keep playing around with your file, you know, instead of having a 1 point formatting, you could have 0.9. Instead of having Garamond 11, you could have Garamond 10.9. Just keep playing around with those couple of things until you get a file that's got 254 pages or the exact number of pages that you need. Okay, now for the next step. Ingram Spark insists that all our fonts are embedded. This means their printing process will understand our fonts and not print gibberish or a font we don't want. So here's how we do this. In the Word document, click File and then Options at the bottom here. And in the box that pops up in the left-hand column, click Save. And then right down here, you need to make sure that Embed Fonts in the File is selected. Then click OK on that. Now we're going to save the file in a format that Ingram Spark likes. So you go File, Save a Copy, and then you drop down the menu here and look for the one that says PDF. You then click More Options, and then you click the button that says Options. And if you see here, you need to make sure this box is checked that says PDF/A compliant. OK that, save that. How do we check this? First of all, download the free version of Adobe Acrobat Reader DC. You can get that from the Adobe website. And then open the PDF file you just created using Adobe Acrobat DC. In the menu bar, go to File, Properties, and then choose Fonts. Each font should have the word Embedded Subset next to it, or it might just say Embedded. If Embedded Subset or Embedded is not listed beside the font name, that font's not embedded and Ingram Spark won't be able to process your file. You'll need to choose another font and start the formatting process again. Once we're sure our fonts are embedded, let's print a test page from the PDF. So you click File, Print as you would normally for printing something. A couple of settings you need to change. First of all, make sure you click Print Current Page, otherwise you'll get 254 pages, which you probably don't want. And Custom Scale 100%, so it prints out exactly as it will do in a book. And then click the Print button. Assuming that you'd like the page you printed, go ahead and upload your PDF file to Ingram Spark. If it's wrong, you will still get another chance to correct it. Now, something great happens that the Ingram Spark instructions don't tell you is going to happen. About 24 hours later, you'll receive a PDF proof of your book from Ingram Spark by email. Open that, and if you've got your settings right, it'll look like this. First, there'll be the cover, laid out in the Ingram Spark friendly format that your designer's given you. Then there'll be an image of your front cover. Then there'll be all the pages of your book, formatted exactly as the PDF you uploaded. If you got your formatting right, it might look a bit like this. And then at the end, there'll be your back cover. If you get your formatting wrong, you might notice mistakes in your proof like this. The text here drifts off the top of the page. It drifts off the sides of the page. This happened to me the first time I tried this, and it was simply because I didn't get my paper size quite right. But let's assume, for the sake of this exercise, you've got your formatting right. Once you've finished reviewing your proof, you need to log back into your Ingram Spark account and find the section to approve or reject it. If it's incorrect, you can reject it at this stage, go back and fix up your Microsoft Word document, save it as a PDF again, and upload it again. You can do this as many times as you like. But once you approve it, your book is available for you or others to order print copies of, and if you want to make changes, from now on, it's going to cost you $25 per upload. At this stage, I recommend you order one copy only of your book. Depending on where it's printed, it might take a few days to arrive. Then once it arrives, have a good look at it. Check the cover. Make sure the spine's correct. Make sure the back looks right. Check any front matter, like if you have a contents page. Check any back matter, like acknowledgements or that sort of thing. If you've got any diagrams or maps in your book, check that they have come out correctly and they're properly formatted on the page. And just check the text in general to make sure it looks properly formatted, nothing's drifting off the sides of the page or truncated in any way. If you notice any issues, it's better to spend $25 and fix them now than have loads of disappointed readers with a less than perfect quality product. Once you're 100% satisfied your book's totally professional, you can order more copies to give away as promos or sell to friends or whatever you're doing with it. So, remember at the beginning of the video, I said I'd give you a little tip on saving a bit of money on your cost per book. I'll show you that now. Here's the screen in Ingram Spark where you order your books. There's a few elements to it. First of all, the number of books that you're ordering. Secondly, the price per book. This doesn't go down until you order 100. Thirdly, the handling fee. This doesn't seem to change. And fourthly, the postage. Now this is what we can play around with. If you order just one book, the price per book is $16.48. If we order a case of books, or 28, the price per book remains the same, the handling fee remains the same, but the postage increases by about $5. So our total cost for 28 books is $239.03, or $8.54 a book. Here's the weird thing. If we reduce our quantity to 27 books, or one less than a case, the handling fee remains the same, but the shipping drops back down to the same shipping as the cost to ship one book. This reduces our cost to $224.97 or $8.33 per book, which is a saving of 2.5% versus if we ordered 28 books. That brings us to the end of this video. I really hope it was helpful to you. If you want to find out any more about me or about my books, please visit me at simonmichaelpryor.com. Thanks for watching and good luck printing with Ingram Spark.